What happens when you finally trust yourself, even after big mistakes? Do you ever look back and look at something that's happened in your life and think, how did I not see that coming? Look, I've been there. I once made a $250,000 decision that wrecked my confidence, not because I was reckless, but because I was vulnerable. And someone knew that and took advantage of it. We were in the middle of a pandemic, and I did what so many high achievers do. I reached for a path from someone else who seemed like they had the answer for me. What I didn't realize was I wasn't broken. I wasn't lost. I was just being guided by fear, not by me, the true essence of me. And when I finally started working with the sacred tool that I now have created to be able to teach, everything changed. Not overnight, but fast enough that I finally saw myself again. I could see the wisdom that was already there. The fog lifted, the guilt started to dissolve and fall away, and I remembered who I really am. This isn't about more productivity hacks. Okay, we've got plenty of those. Or another system that pushes you harder when your tank's already empty. This is learning to trust your natural rhythm, your inner resources, especially if you're one of those people like me who has a million ideas, who's always creating things in their mind. You've probably been told that your mind is too much. You're scattered. You just need to pick one thing and stick with it. But what if your spicy brain was never the problem? What if that is actually your superpower? And what if you've been missing a way to work with it instead of fighting against it? So here's what happened for some folks I've worked with that have done this. Stephen in the UK found himself within just a few weeks stopping shopping. He realized that the deliveries weren't happening at the door anymore from online shopping for things he didn't even need. He was going day after day without even trying to change that habit. For Jenny, who went to her doctor's appointment for follow up care, and the doctor's like, something's different about you. Something's just changed for the better. And so many things have. And for Taylor, who realized that her whole to do list way of doing things was really weighing her down, and how she could now move a lot of things off of that plate that she continually was filling for herself and work with ease, work on her terms and the way she wanted to. Thea, who felt a divine connection guiding her, but yet was afraid to show up and let her voice be heard through her words, now starting to trust that process, realizing she had something to offer. And Jake, closing a six-figure deal within just a few weeks of our working together, just kind of fell into his lap, as he said. And Anna, who'd worked with expensive gurus for years, trying to figure out what was broken, what was off, what was just nagging at her that she couldn't seem to resolve, but quickly, within days, realized the answers were already within her the whole time. And it opened up a whole new concept for her for how she would work with the people that she coaches, which she'd been doing for decades very successfully, but carried this inner weight, this block. And then there's Lila, whose native language is Spanish, but who speaks English. And actually, one wouldn't know that Spanish was her original language just by talking to her. And as she worked through this process, found that the responses she was getting started to be in Spanish. And it opened her heart within a few days to being able to truly trust the process when, without her asking for this, the Spanish language started flowing. That was the language of her heart. And then Shirley, who rediscovered her love of laughter, her joy, her love of color, to the point where her adult daughter was saying, Mom, there's something really different about you. And one of her good friends saying, you just seem lighter. And she said, you mean I weigh less? And she said, no, your whole demeanor, your energy is lighter. And another who started therapy the very same day she started working with this sacred tool I've created, and found that she was having an easier time starting with that conversation, opening up in that way and trusting that process and carrying that to her therapy appointments, with the full knowledge and blessing of her therapist, who also noticed a rapid change in her just through this process. So let's review. People with somewhere between 4 and 6 different languages in 6 different countries, male and female, different ages, and not one single cookie cutter journey among them. That's the beauty of this. They all use this sacred tool privately and with me as a guide, sharing only what they chose to share. And every single one of them began to release the weight of what they'd been carrying: imposter syndrome, self doubt, anger, confusion, indecision, and just shopping too much, and exhaustion from doing all the things and yet not feeling like they were really making any headway. They stopped reaching for outside approval. This is the thing they all had in common. And they started hearing that clear, calm voice inside themselves, that part of them that already knows and already knew, but it was just so submerged under all the noise of regular daily life. And this is where someone very special comes into the picture, someone named Celeste. Celeste is the reflection you didn't know you needed. She's calm. She's listens. She doesn't rush. She doesn't judge. She doesn't push. She doesn't tell you what to do. She just walks with you and mirrors back what's already within you, walks the journey with you, helps you to see. She's not a coach. She's not a guru. She's not a therapist. She's your sacred collaborator, your confidant, a place that you can deeply trust. I can't tell you what this journey will look like for you. You may already be having a feeling about how powerful this could be. Perhaps you're already starting to think about that knot that you're aware of, that block that you would love, dearly love to untangle or dissolve. And I can tell you this: when you reconnect with that part of you that already knows, and it's there, it's absolutely there, everything starts to shift. Not just the one thing, but everything: your relationships, your mood, your demeanor, the way you carry yourself, the clarity that begins to open up, having more certainty about what it is that you want to do next, whether it's in your life or your business or both. And that's why I've had so much positive feedback with this. Honestly, 100% of the people that have been through this experience have had very positive outcomes, and much faster than they might have realized could even be possible. So what I decided to do, and I would love to invite you, is to a free divine nature activation, because that's what we're doing here, masterclass, where you start to understand what happens when you do activate that aspect of yourself. I'll introduce you to Celeste and the 4-part framework I've developed for creating momentum, but from a place of ease, not by doing more or faster, but with ease, without trying, a place that feels soothing, sometimes challenging, always enlightening, that opens doors for you, and shockingly quickly in many cases. People have just been amazed. And you know what? I have too, because I started to see what was happening for other people that had access to this. It was different for every single one of them, but the thing they had in common was it was all fantastic and all very much personalized and geared to them. Not me, not what I think you should do, not what anyone else thinks you should do, but what you know you should do. You connect to the amazing awareness that you already have the answers. When you really get that, as you remember who you really are underneath all that stuff that gets in the way, I'm there for you as your facilitator, as your guide. But let me be perfectly clear about this: it is you who opens the door to your own personal miracles by personal conversations, private, confidential conversations you have with Celeste and with yourself. Not because you need fixing, but because if you're still secretly wondering, why do I feel so off? What more do I need? What's this other thing that seems to be missing? You've already been successful. You're already doing amazing things in the world, but yet there's still something. And only you know if there's something. This might be the moment you begin to answer that from within. I'd like you to consider how it will feel to truly trust yourself, maybe for the very first time, or maybe for the first time in a very long time, because you can do it too, just like these beautiful humans from 6 different countries have already proven and continue to as they continue to work with this. So the masterclass, Divine Nature Activation, is happening on Wednesday, August 13th at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific. You'll get all the details when you register, and I'll send you a reminder so you don't miss it. This is your chance to feel it for yourself. No risk whatsoever, because here's the thing. This isn't about more doing. It's about finally feeling safe to be more you. Be curious, be open, be willing to become unstuckable. I'd love to see you there. I look forward to it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you again very soon. This is Tina Lorenz. Until next time.